Hey boys, hope you're all doing well. Today we have this breakdown on Selimov and Vasyl Lomachenko in the amateurs. So they did 4-2s. This was their first fight. Obviously, famously, this is Lomachenko's one amateur loss. You have Selimov, who's a Russian boxer. Great checks, great resets, good looks backwards. And we're just going to see how he basically beat Lomachenko the first time. I think they had 2 matches after that, with both of which Lomachenko won. Even this one was a pretty close fight, to be fair. It kind of looks like Lomachenko's inexperience more than anything else. But it shows you can be 260-0 and still need to get better, okay? Okay, so let's get into it straight away. Okay, so the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to see Selimov in this low guard here in the red. He's just going to stalk forwards with some looks before being feinted out by Lomachenko. If we look at Lomachenko, he's got his trademark looks here. He's got his slips to the outside, to the inside, to the outside, and then he's just feinting Selimov back, okay? He then steps out of range and is now going to change the angle to his right. Selimov then decides to throw out a jab. He's going to throw out the jab, which Lomachenko is going to slip, but it was more of a touch anyway. Lomachenko is going to reset when he changes the angle and then decide to come forward again. So he comes forward with this slip to the outside. A lot of energetic movement here by Lomachenko. As you can see, Selimov is just stepping back, feinting him with looks just a little bit as well. He sees Lomachenko come forwards, and as Lomachenko explodes, because Selimov has kept the look backwards going quite well, he sees him coming from quite far. He's maintained the distance well, and he just pops him with the jab as he comes in and steps back. So he times Lomachenko's half jab here as he comes in, and then what's he going to do? He's going to step back and sort of change the angle to the right before throwing a double jab and showing some really great lead hand here. If you can see here, he steps back, he moves off to his right, and now he's going to go to his right with lead hand, jab, jab, step back and a hook, another jab, and just basically bothering Lomachenko as he's trying to come forward with looks. You can see Lomachenko quite squared up here. Slip here, slip on the outside, just trying to close the distance. He's not really getting hit by any of these, but it's just bothering him enough to keep him at range. Now Lomachenko is going to get sideways on again. He's going to shuffle forward, try to come in with a slip, but Selimov just backs off with the good looks backwards. He's going to shuffle back, reset out to his left, and then it looks like they both stop because Selimov feints him here. Lomachenko throws in a big slip, and then he's going to throw an uppercut and a double check hook here and manage to defend this follow-up punch with his shoulder. He then straight away understands Lomachenko's in his range and he's squared up. Let me come back in. 1 and 2 over the head. It doesn't really land. Lomachenko manages to shuffle off quite quickly into the southpaw stance and reset around to his left. And then they're back in the center. So these exchanges, we're going to see them get repeated over and over again. Lomachenko's losing his looks forwards. He's feinting the jab. And as you can see, he hasn't really actually thrown a good jab yet, Lomachenko, and is already going to try feint it and go in for the backhand. Selimov's a little bit too smart for that if you don't have his range. So he's just stepping back here, keeping the space, gets into this low slip position here to bait out the punch. Step back, hook over the top, and another check hook here before readjusting his base as he moves to his right. He sees Lomachenko try to cut him off in this square stance. He's not in his stance and base yet, so he's just going to decide to go 1 and 2. Lomachenko bends at the waist and gets under it. Lomachenko's going to do something really nice here, and since the arms aren't locked in, he's going to go 1, 2, 3 on the inside. Great scoring point there. I don't think the judges score it, unfortunately, but it was good inside work. Selimov comes back into range, just trying to bait Lomachenko, and then he's going to use his looks backwards. He has his hands completely down. Just look how intentful his back steps are as Lomachenko is coming in. Now Lomachenko is going to try a different entry instead of coming in with his left hand straight away. Selimov is waiting in his looks backwards. He's got his hands down. He's seeing it. He sees the jab. He steps back, hooks over the top, and manages to check excellently away from this 1-1-2. As soon as he resets around to his right again, what's he going to do? 1-2, of course. And it lands a little bit better than when it did the first couple times. Lomachenko tries to slip, come back in with a slip, but Selimov straight away is pulling away, going into a reset, keeps his lead hand out there just to make sure that Lomachenko isn't squashing the distance. You can see how eager Lomachenko is to come in. Now, Selimov's going to do something cool here. He's going to misdirect to his left, come back into his right. He's then going to get into this super sideways on guard because he knows he's just baited Lomachenko in by setting his feet. Lomachenko is going to level change, try to go low. Selimov beautifully times it with this uppercut here, a check hook over the top, and then again, around to his right, come back in with a 1-2. This is well defended by Lomachenko, who steps back and tries to hook himself, but it gets smothered and they get into this clinch. Here, Lomachenko is going to try work the inside again, but doesn't manage to because Selimov quite literally just pushes him off him and he doesn't get the range. You see now Lomachenko, he's being aggressive, using his looks forwards, trying to feint in and out, shuffle step forward, get low, get high, get low. Selimov, though, just being patient, resetting around to his left shortly, to keep in the space, feinting out the counters before resetting to his left, and he keeps his lead arm out just in case. He then feels like he's going to get cut off, so he's going to stay here, feint, and then check hook once he's baited Lomachenko into a worse position. Again, what's he going to do? Off the check, regain his base, 1-2, which Lomachenko smothers again by coming in. It's weird because in all three fights you see the same exchanges again and again and again. But anyway, they're in this clinch. Lomachenko tries to come with a left hand over the top, and it kind of lands, but he gets pushed away. Lomachenko is now going to keep feinting out his right hand. Selimov backs off with his looks backwards, trying to keep the space. And after feinting his right hand, Lomachenko is now going to feint it again, come around with a 2. But Selimov just keeps timing in with this great check to right hook. And then this time, he doesn't go for a 1-2 and then just feints him backwards. Moving out to his right and then throwing a 1-2 over the top, which again, Lomachenko bends at the waist, gets into this clinch, and a short little 1-2 on the inside before being pushed away. Very frustrating to deal with someone like Selimov. So here you're going to see him do the same kind of things he was doing earlier. He backs off, moves around to his right, feints Lomachenko, moves around to his left again, feints him into a step back hook counter before resetting to his left, feints him again with that left hand, steps back into a hook, and then is going to go 1-2 over the top. Beautiful 3-punch combination there. So feint, step back with a hook, and 1-2 before resetting off to the left again. This time they're going to trade jabs a little bit, but I think Selimov's going to get the better of it. As he resets, he keeps his lead arm out, which just pushes Lomachenko's head backwards, who tries to spring in with his own jab here. As you can see, Lomachenko was caught quite square on here. Selimov's going to do the right thing because he gets hit here, so he's going to try to roll under to his right, but obviously gets smothered since Lomachenko is actually in an orthodox position now. So now that his rollout has been smothered, he's going to reach out and clinch Lomachenko straight away to make sure he can't work. They're then going to try to do this wrestling turn here, but Lomachenko gets the better of it and manages to hook his way on the inside before being pushed away again. Selimov resets, and the first thing he's going to do is just feint back in. Lomachenko is going to use his looks forwards. He does the right thing here. He goes for a very simple high jab, which catches Selimov. And Selimov then breaks his base, goes off to his right a little bit to create some distance. And then he's going to start resetting out to his left before feinting Lomachenko that he might come back in. Lomachenko, obviously, with his slips here, he's getting super square on. And Selimov sees this and is going to try go for a 1-2. But because Lomachenko's in such a low position, it just ends up going over the top. I don't know how many times I can keep saying the same thing for these exchanges. They're super similar. But it's important to watch how they keep changing them and adapting to them. Obviously here they're tussling and turning on the inside, trying to find some space. Lomachenko tries to throw him off, and then he has to readjust his head guard, so they break away. And you even see Selimov here push him off. Selimov really doesn't like the wrestling, and I think there might have been a little headbutt here. To be honest, this was a pretty scrappy fight. It's the same exchange where Lomachenko defends the 1-2, and then they end up in a messy clinch. Here, Selimov is going to time Lomachenko perfectly. He's going to step back from this first punch from Lomachenko, and is then going to set his feet whilst throwing out his 1, and then loop this 2 over the top before trying for another third punch and pushing him off. See Lomachenko just here getting out-timed and being a little bit too predictable with when he's about to approach. Now, that's easier said than done, because if it was anyone else, it probably wouldn't be predictable whatsoever. But clearly to someone as good as Selimov, Lomachenko's entries can be timed quite easily. They're going to reset from this clinch, and Selimov's going to have this wide base and look, baiting Lomachenko in. As soon as Lomachenko feels like he could throw a jab, he steps back and hooks at the same time. He's playing a game where Lomachenko can never really find his range. He's constantly chasing and never being able to land. Selimov steps back, resets off to his left, feints a little bit with a misdirection feint before resetting again. He then sees Lomachenko eager to feint and throw the left hand, so he steps back from it, hooks over the top, and then gets low before clinching, and there's a pretty wild headbutt here. And then while Lomachenko is recovering from that, Selimov decides to spin him off where he's not near the ropes anymore, reset out to his right, and then get back the center with his looks. As soon as he sets his feet, he's going to wait for Lomachenko to come in. He's going to see that outside slip look from Lomachenko and straight away throw 1-2. Here Selimov's going to keep doing well. He sees Lomachenko hand feinting and trying to come in. He's stepping back. He's lowering his guard. You can see him have the intent for the uppercut here. And as soon as Lomachenko tries to commit, by getting into close range with his slip look, he throws an uppercut straight away as he backs off with his hook and then resets around to his left. It looks like he's a little bit trapped here. Lomachenko thinks that. He tries to come in with the hook, and he just catches Lomachenko with his beautifully timed check hook here. And all whilst pulling back. It's really nice timing. He's obviously clipped Lomachenko quite badly there. It even looks like it could have hurt Lomachenko momentarily. So he comes straight back in with his 2. But Lomachenko squeezes and backs off before coming back in. He's now again resetting to his left and is actually going to try a triple jab here just to keep Lomachenko square on and at range before trying to fire off his left hand, which I again think goes over the top. Lomachenko famously 1, 2, 3, 4 on the inside, but does get pushed off. Now this was actually kind of what I was waiting for. After pushing him off, Selimov is technically usually still at close range with his hands down, that is. And as you can see here, Lomachenko is still in range once he gets pushed off and just comes back in straight away with this looping left hand over the top and then this beautiful jab to send his head flying backwards. That was probably Lomachenko's best work this round. He then tries to set his feet, Lomachenko, and is instantly going to try go feint to the body, left hand over the top, but Selimov gets way too sideways on here and tries to hook in before grabbing Lomachenko's head. And then they're on this clinch again. Selimov tries to push him away while Lomachenko's trying to get his hands free. And then they're going to reset back into the center. You see Lomachenko trying all these feints from so far out that to Selimov, this kind of looks a little bit silly. It's a bit like when someone tries to do an inside pivot against you, but they're so far away. It's a little bit scary, but at the same time, they're not close enough to get anything off of it. And if you step back as Selimov's doing right now, then you can see them from a long way away. Selimov's going to reset a little bit before getting into this really defensive look here, super sideways on, let Lomachenko come forward and bait him into it before stepping back as soon as Lomachenko commits and trying to lightly step back with a 3 and avoid this jab and coming over with this left hand of his own, which Lomachenko bends at the waist of. He then pushes Lomachenko off and ducks away from his left hand. I think even this follow-up punch from Lomachenko misses, since Selimov just pulls away and steps back before resetting out to his right again. Lomachenko is going to try to catch him when he thinks he's not ready, but Selimov straight away reads this and throws out his own jab to keep him at bay. And after getting Lomachenko into this defensive position, he's going to feint, get Lomachenko really square on. You can see him quite befuddled here, but he's not going to capitalize on it. He's just going to keep moving around to his left and right. The same exchange again. He's going to misdirect here to the left, move around to his right, feint Lomachenko, who's going to be left-hand heavy and try to come in with it. Selimov can see it. He pulls away, hook over the top as Lomachenko squares up. And Lomachenko here actually manages to land this good jab before getting under the left hand, but doesn't manage to land any other following punch because Selimov is already out of range and resetting around to his right. Really, really interesting round to watch. You can see the scoring is a little bit harsh, but I think they could only score punches which they were 100% sure had landed. Watch all 3 fights if it interests you, to see how Lomachenko even did better in the second and third, and how they both improved over time. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Happy training, guys, and we'll do Bivol and Canelo for the next one.